Well, welcome back, everybody. It has been a hot minute since we have done our show. It's just like life got in the way. We had the strikes. We'll go over it all in a minute. But we wanted to say welcome back. We decided to not do today live, but this is our chat with Castlescapes and Clones, where you can usually join us live and be part of the chat, be part of the discussion. Anyway, if you enjoy our channel, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. I am here with my cousin and co-pilot, as always, Cousin Rich. How are you? Sorry, the
Hello.
stupid thing is going off.
I'm good. It's been
Good.
quite a while since anyone on this channel has probably seen my face.
I know. I know. We miss your face.
It's been,
We miss Cousin Rich. More Cousin Rich.
but yeah, we are back.
Yeah.
Sorta. We decided to do this recording because we couldn't find our normal time slot that we do it live open.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's obviously we haven't been there for a while. But there's some things that came out that we should probably talk about. So we're gonna do that
Yep.
today.
Yeah.
But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I was at Disneyland a couple weeks ago. I saw you for like 5 seconds. And I wasn't. I don't know why. I wasn't looking on my phone very much at that time. Period. First, I was looking for Ahsoka, and I'm like, I cannot leave here without seeing Ahsoka. And or not Ahsoka, Hera. It was
Right.
Hera. I managed to see Ahsoka, but I was like, I cannot leave here. I saw Chopper, I saw Ahsoka, I saw Fennec, I saw Boba, I saw the Mandalorian,
Mandalorian, Grogu.
and and then I think around the time that you texted me, I was like, oh my God, there she is! And so I wasn't looking at my phone at all, and then I was in heaven, and then my sister called me and said she was going to downtown Disney, so I decided to hang out with her over there,
Right.
and it was fun. And I went to Oogie Boogie, and that was so fun. Um, yeah, I just really had a good time, and so my next time, I guess, will be down there for your birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Which is next. Wait, no, we're still in September, so it'll be November.
November, but pretty much it's October right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be soon. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, on Sunday it'll be October, so it's pretty much next month.
I know. When's the last time we did this? Do you remember?
Had
to be before the strike.
Yeah, it was before the strike that we did the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why we decided. So let's just go ahead and get into it.
Yeah.
The reason why we decided not to go into the is because, like, both you and Thom are aspiring members of either WGA or SAG-AFTRA.
More than anything, probably WGA.
Yeah.
More me than anyone else. Well, it's twofold, right? Because yes, I wanted to make sure that it's not like I'm on a trajectory to go into being a writer for any kind of thing, but like it's one of the things that I would love to do at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? So I wanted to make sure that doesn't get there's nothing that would prevent me from doing it. And if I did do something, even if I'm not in part of it now, if you do something for like, this is also the same with SAG, right? Like influencers. That's why you see a lot of influencers stop doing their content in certain ways, because they know that they could possibly go into SAG. The same thing with the same
Yeah.
thing with Writers Guild. We don't want to do anything that way, like just jeopardize that, which
Yeah.
would be the same as if we were in the guild doing anything to promote anything from the struck companies, which for Castles, Capes, and Clones is Disney. So
Right.
we couldn't really talk about anything that would be considered promotion. So that's why we kind of decided to stop, because then mostly all the thing we could talk about would be like Disney park news, really.
Yeah.
And there really hasn't been enough to discuss. And also, there's a lot of life stuff during the summer that kind of happened.
Right.
So, like, we tried to do this earlier, but we just couldn't find the time, or we just, by the time we found time, the things we were going to talk about would be already up, like, weeks later. So they weren't relevant anymore. But we found this time, and obviously we're doing it through recording, so it's not live. But we figured we've been off for a long time, so we should probably get back to something.
We need to practice again. Well, do you want to tell us a little bit about? Because I know WGA came to a conclusion, correct?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, it's not like all the things haven't been signed. Whatever, it's going to go through some lawyers, I'm sure, and there might be some kind of whatevers. But for the most part, as a couple of days ago, the WGA and AMPTP, which is the group that's handling all the struck companies, came to an agreement that sounds like, from the WGA standpoint, they're very, very happy about, which is good, because that also, like, a lot of their concerns were the same concerns that the Actors Guild has. The biggest thing that I saw, and there's a lot of different things, but like, in regards to residuals, the biggest problem with how it works now is that streamers, and that's where most people see their shows, is through streaming services, they don't really disclose their numbers. Like, back in the old days with TV and cable, like, they regularly, you knew how many people are watching whatever show, so you can extrapolate a person who worked on that show's worth, I guess, depending on whatever. They can say, if this show is seen this many times or whatever, how many hours. There's a monetary thing that goes with it. With streaming, they never disclose those things, so no one really knew how much a show was being seen, outside of whatever one of the studios might say is like, oh, we get a lot of people, but everyone knew that they were making a lot of money from these shows and movies on streaming.
Right.
But actors and writers especially never got compensated equally. So it was very hard to be an actor and a writer nowadays because of that, because everything's very much secretive. So they couldn't, and whatever monetary deals they came up with were, terrible at best. So now the streamers have agreed to divulge those numbers so that the Writers Guild can get properly compensated on the varying degrees of success of the shows that they work on. In addition to that, there's been regulations on writers' rooms. So if a show runs for a certain amount of time, minimum you have to have X amount of writers on that show. Whereas before, there kind of wasn't a deal. So you can have a writer or two on a show that runs for like 22 episodes, and what usually would amount to like say arbitrarily 10 writers on a show that does 22 episodes. They cut it down again to save money, which puts a lot of burden on that writer. But then that one writer also doesn't make enough money because there's no like good way of doing residuals, right? So it's a very unfair system. But now that's been put into place so that depending on how much your show runs, like how many episodes, how many hours, whatever, there's a minimum amount of writers that need to be in that writers' room. That helps, one, a lot of more writers be able to have their chance to be on shows, but it also doesn't overburden the current writers that they do hire, right? So one person
Right.
doesn't have to be responsible for writing 22 episodes of a show. You know, that's extreme, but like it doesn't, but it's not that far fetched what some of the studios were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's also some stipulations about AI in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot more. It's a lot more transparent on the use of AI for writers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like those big things happen, and it seems like they're happy, which hopefully bodes well for the Screen Actors Guild, because a lot of the same concerns, right? Now that the writers know, streaming numbers, actors should be able to. So now they can also start being compensated fairly against those same numbers. So they are,
Yeah.
yeah.
I,
What's it called? The next meeting for SAG and the AMPTP is next week. So we'll see what happens.
no, I hope it all goes, because this streaming thing is a huge thing now. I mean,
Yeah.
it basically changed how all entertainment is done these days. And like I was thinking about a movie like Elemental and
Mm-hmm.
how had that, or like let's say the movies like Luca or Turning Red or whatever. I mean, like how successful were those movies? I would love to know. In my heart, they are like number one, but
Right.
you never know.
You don't
And
never know.
Elemental as well, because I know like so many people who have said, "Yeah, I've been waiting for Disney to come onto Disney Plus," and it's like you know, so we never know the true value of a movie these days.
Yeah.
You know, did Indiana Jones actually flop? Were people waiting for it to come out in streaming? I don't know.
Yeah. I think like the
Uh,
pandemic retaught the world how to consume media, right?
yeah.
Like no one wanted to go to theaters, so they put stuff out on streamers. People got
Hmm.
comfortable with it. And we talked about it, like inflation, all these kind of things. It's really
Yep.
expensive to take a family out to go see a movie nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Where, they also probably have Disney Plus. So, they bite the bullet and just wait a couple more months and it'll be out. Like
Yeah.
Little Mermaid just came out on streaming. And so
Yep.
I know a lot of people who watched it finally, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, and those numbers should count for something. Uh,
Right.
in kind of
Exactly.
streaming. I mean, that's kind of what like Scarlett Johansson went through with Disney about Black Widow,
Hmm.
and they did it at the time where it was still weird because pandemic time. Now people want to go see it on the theaters, but then it quickly went into streaming or came out the same day or something like that. I can't remember, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Because that
there
was
were
another
no
thing.
yeah because there were no numbers associated with streaming versions of it, so she would only really, according to her contract, get movie like theater
Right.
residuals, which wasn't really representative of how many people actually saw that movie because a lot of people probably watched it online.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, as to say, we are hopefully close to getting everything back on track, but we all have to remember that the writers haven't been working since May. The
Hmm.
actors haven't since like July or maybe June. So there's a
Yeah.
big time period where nothing was getting done. No one was
Yeah.
working on anything because they couldn't and shouldn't. So we're gonna have like 2024, 2025 is gonna have a gap on new content,
Yeah.
basically. Um,
Yeah.
so you know,
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into some of this news. So Disney has announced a 60 billion euro investment for over the next 10 years for Disney parks. It's revealed that 60 billion dollars of the plan for investing in expanding and enhancing domestic and international parks and cruise line capacity, prioritizing projects anticipated to generate strong returns. Of course, this raises questions about the 7,000 employees that were laid off from declining profits.
Yeah.
Um, and Disney Parks remains a stable moneymaker for the parks. In fact, it's probably, I mean, not for the parks, for Disney in general. And it's probably what has kept Disney afloat all of these years. And especially during this time of both the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes.
Yeah.
So this investment doubles what they invested during the last 10 years, which included expansion into Galaxy's Edge on both the East and West Coast, Avengers Campus in Disney, California, and Walt Disney Studios in Paris, Pandora, Toy Story Land in Walt Disney World, Zootopia Land in Shanghai, and Arendelle in Hong Kong,
No.
Paris, and now Tokyo.
Yeah.
So, and does this include parts of Disneyland Forever?
Forward.
Part Forward. I mean, sorry, excuse me. But it's like we've been reduced to a fireworks show. Um, probably partly because it's a multi-decade plan which goes beyond 10-year investment. So that one is more like a 30-year investment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should we stop for a moment and discuss? Do we know anything? I mean, I don't think we do at this
The only
point.
thing we've known is, and everything they haven't really. So this wasn't like a D23 thing. This wasn't like anything where they went to the public and said this is a whatever. This was
Mm-hmm.
like some behind the scenes, like they had to file something. I don't know, but it wasn't like a big presentation about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a commitment that they are planning on investing this much money over 10
Yeah.
years. And we kind of look at what they like, especially what Josh D'Amaro has said at previous things, and some of the things that kind of came out of the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The last D23 they talked about expanding Magic Kingdom beyond Big Thunder Mountain and all the kind of
Right.
blue sky stuff. Like, is it going to be a Villains Land? Is it going to be a Coco thing? Is it going to be an Encanto thing?
Encanto, yeah.
So we don't know for sure what the plans are. I think they're still in that, like, well, maybe this and this and this. But we do know
Right.
that Dinosaur Land or Dinoland in
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom is going to
Mm-hmm.
change to I forget where they announced this, but it's going to be more like a
It was
South
a
American.
Destination
Destination
D23.
23, yeah.
Yeah.
Where they said it's going to transform into basically the South American area, right? So Encanto is
Yeah.
going to be a big part of that thing, and the dinosaur ride is
Mm-hmm.
pretty much it's the same as Indiana Jones, like the same
Yep.
track and stuff. So I think they're just going to turn it into. I think they said they didn't say they're going to do that, but they said they gave it a little tease that Indiana Jones is coming to that area,
Yeah.
and it just makes sense that it's the same ride as the Indiana Jones ride here in Disneyland. Just they have dinosaurs in their theming.
Right.
Just
Right.
switch that out and turn it into. And if they do that, I hope they change the story a little bit so that's different over there than it is here. But who knows?
Yeah, because in Tokyo, they have a version in Tokyo, and it's the same ride system, but a different story. That one takes place in
Mm.
South America. Well, I guess all of them take place in South America, um, no, I think this one takes place in like India, the Eyes of Mara. Um,
Maybe, yeah.
so I think this one is in India. So and then the one in um, Tokyo is definitely South America. So they'll either use a similar footprint to that, or they will come up with a different storyline. I would believe. Um, so that will be a lot of fun. I actually am relieved that they decided to go this route for many different reasons.
Yeah.
One, I like the fact that they are including a South America part of the park where they can highlight some animals from South America, like the
Yeah.
capybara and, like different animals that are there. Because I think that, they have had Africa and they've had Asia. So South America is definitely needed. I love the fact that they're going to use different IPs there because I think that Disney has become kind of dependent on having like the same kind of IP, in a particular area for a while.
Mm.
And I like the fact that it's going to be a little bit different with an Indiana Jones thing and an Encanto thing. And I can imagine both of them, because somebody was asking me, like, what does Encanto have to do with Animal Kingdom? I'm like, Antonio has a whole room
Yeah.
dedicated to animals of South America. So I would imagine that we'll be taking a tour in his room. And so that's kind of like a really cool thing
What's
to me. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I probably would say that Encanto is one of the reasons why the capybara was such a big thing like a month ago. For
Yeah.
like for a couple months, right? It was a big thing on TikTok and stuff. Couldn't go anywhere
Yeah.
without hearing that capybara song, and rightly
Right.
so because capybaras look awesome.
Yeah. When I was an exchange student in Paraguay, a friend of mine had a capybara as a pet.
What?
And yeah, it was so cute. It was a baby, and it
Mm.
was so cute. So it was like tiny, not tiny, like it was about the size of um, what do you call that? A guinea pig.
Yeah,
So
but they
maybe a
can get quite
little bit
large.
bigger. Oh yeah, they get big. They
Yeah,
get big. They're the largest rodent in the world.
the
So
largest rodent in my heart.
I know they're really adorable, and I want one myself, but I don't, I don't see it happening. but but yeah, so that was out of everything in this Destination D23, I thought I liked that idea. I know a lot of people were disappointed by it and whatever, but I liked it more than them doing a Moana section because Moana, first of all, they have it in Epcot, like a gigantic area for it. And
Which to just like interrupt a little bit. My sister just
yeah,
came back from Walt Disney World,
yeah.
and our little niece Cassiana loved the Moana thing. So they
Did
got to
they get to
do
go through it?
yeah, because so it's not open yet to the public, but there's
Yeah,
a DVC preview going on, and we are DVC
nice.
members, so they got to go. They went and they were staying at a resort, so they went during the magic morning hours, whatever they call it now. So they're able to get in, and yeah, like I know a lot of people complain about it. It's like it's just a walkthrough, but like be a kid. Like my niece loved it, so totally.
Though a lot of people that I know, especially some of my more cynical friends,
Mhm.
said that it is better than you would expect it to be. and more fun than one would think that it was.
Yeah,
So at least there are some cynical people who
that's good.
are still found joy in it.
Yeah,
And I can't wait to go through it. I'm not trying to slam Moana because that's one of my favorites.
right.
But at Animal Kingdom, I don't think of animals when I think of Moana. You know
Same
what I
thing.
mean? And so the only thing that I mean, yes, it would be cool to see some of the animals of Polynesia. Like I
Right.
think that the Polynesian area would be great for them to expand into, and if they do, then include something Moana esque. But don't make it all about Moana. You know what I mean? Um,
Like if they put Moana anywhere, like that whole culture is more like island stuff. So it
mhm,
should be somewhere where there's room to have a lot of water
yeah,
around it. You know, like maybe like a Tokyo Seas or something where like it
yeah,
fits. You can tell that this is like an island kind of culture and whatever.
mm, right.
So, but I like the Moana Journey of Water seems also very much like it's going to be in line with how Epcot has a lot of educational kind of things going on for it. It's not
Yeah.
always about thrill rides. It does have its rides, but it's not like that's where you go for like excitement. It's more like this is where you learn about a lot of stuff.
All I know is all I need to see is that statue of Tafiti,
Yeah.
and I'm sold. Like that's all I need to see there. I
Again,
mean,
like
I want to see everything else, but
right.
that statue looks so beautiful. I just love it.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see it.
And like I said, our niece gives it a thumbs up. So
Yay! That's important.
exactly.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about Disneyland Forward. It has filed an environmental impact study with the city of Anaheim, which revealed a little more about the plans for the Disneyland Resort expansion. Sadly, I didn't take a big look at it myself,
I
but
did.
it is 872 pages. I see you put down here interesting maps. So, do you want to go ahead and talk a little bit more about this
Yeah, sure.
part of it?
So Disneyland Forward, it's funny. I was looking at like posts we've done. This is first announced like 2 years ago.
Hmm.
And back then they just said this is like a 30-year kind of plan, but it wasn't set. Right now they're kind of in this phase where they're trying to work with the city of Anaheim to get it all approved. So this
Hmm.
whole study wasn't like a presentation of what it's going to be exactly, but they had to include a lot of stuff. And like I said, it's 872 pages. Unless you like that kind of stuff, it's a lot of planning, a lot of like urban kind of design and like impact on like traffic and what all this kind of like noise. Um, unless you like that stuff, go right ahead. We'll include it in the
Hmm.
description below. But it was more to let Anaheim know just what the impact of this expansion will be on traffic, on transportation, housing, and noise level, and whatever environmental things that might come out of it. Um,
Hmm.
but because of it, we do learn a little bit more. Like what I'm showing here is kind of what they showed 2 years ago, which is a very concepty version of what it is, right? This goes, if you're familiar with Disneyland, this will take up both the like the right now where the loading zone is for the Mickey and Friends parking lot, and then
Hmm.
the what's that? What is that parking lot on the other side of
It's
the hotels?
The Lilo, I think, Lilo parking lot.
Uh, so basically those
Uh,
two,
yeah,
on either side of the Disneyland Hotel and the Pixar Pier Hotel.
yeah.
Um, But in the concept you kind of see here, they only had like they put in rides and stuff, but it wasn't like this wasn't what it is. This is kind of like this is what it's going to look like, kind of, you know. But with this plan, let me see if I can find it. Which also included this. So this is the Toy Story parking lot area, which they
Yeah,
talk
and
about
like,
expanding into retail, dining, entertainment, and or theme park. That is still a thing, according to this study that they sent to Anaheim. But
nice.
so you can see here, like the big orange area, area 1 is the original. What's going on here?
Hmm.
Area 2 is the whole expansion thing. 3, if you're familiar, again, that's kind of like the current Mickey and Friends parking lot area. So
Yeah.
everything south of that becomes expanded theme park area. And then as you see, area 7, which is on the bottom right corner, that is the Toy Story parking lot across from the convention center, which is a parking lot.
Uh-huh.
But you can see here, it's like listed as theme park east overlay, right? So I guess that's still part of, like, maybe that might happen as a quote unquote third gate or expanded theme park area. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
Wow, there's a lot of and look at this whole area that is not even in the resort area. Um, it's quite a huge chunk of Anaheim right there,
yeah,
which will be very. I mean, I'm totally for it. So,
yeah.
but that obviously, I'm trying to think of what this also includes. Like, I guess Garden Walk is there, and then that Disneyland Hotel that is across the way that I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, it's a big undertaking. This is why it's a 30-year deal, right?
Hmm.
Hoping some of this stuff does. I mean, like, obviously they go through how many like jobs this will create, those kind of things. So it's they're trying to sell it on the city of Anaheim, and we'll see what happens with that. But
I,
like,
again, sorry, but Anaheim would be nothing without Disneyland. I mean, it
I know,
really would. And it's like, I just think that, yeah, okay, so good for them to protect like sound, that is too loud for their inhabitants, or what do you call it, the citizens, um
the residents of
and
Anaheim, which
huh.
I am part of. I am a resident of
You
Anaheim.
are you are an inhabitant of Disney. I mean, of Anaheim.
Mhm.
um but you're farther away from the parks. I mean, I can kind of understand, like, the people who are like right next to the park, because my sister and I stay at a hotel on the other side of um, the Disneyland Resort, so closer to the Disneyland Hotel,
Mhm.
and where there's more kind of the houses, and I was there's like a high school literally like a couple blocks away, and I think to myself, man, if I went to high school there right after class, I'd be like, I'm going to Disneyland, you know.
Right.
So I get the fact that there are real people working real jobs there. So I tease a little bit, but at the same time, you know, they know that it's going to bring in the jobs. They know that it's going to bring in, all of these things. And I just think that this would be such a boon for um, Disney, for not only for Disney, but I mean for Anaheim as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. Um, So this map I'm looking at, this is their noise impact map,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the area that says R2, R1, those are residential. That's like really across the street from
Yeah.
anything. And this right here is what is the parking lot areas right now, which would be
Yeah.
the expanded theme park area. What they're going to do is a lot of rides. You see, like a good example is Haunted Mansion. You see the mansion, it's a ride, but that
Mm-hmm.
ride does not exist inside that facade. That ride exists in like buildings behind it that you don't see,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what they're going to do with a lot of these rides are to protect that residential area from the noise, block it off using these show buildings. It's what they call show buildings.
Yeah.
Like there's the facade, the front facing thing that you see, and you're like, ooh, that's cool. But the ride itself takes place within a building, right? Or
Right,
whatever.
like
Just like
Haunted
Tropical
Mansion
Haunted
and It's
Mansion.
a Small World.
Yeah.
People don't see the actual building that you're going into when you know the what it actually looks like. So
Yeah. So you can see like by color, the residential areas are blue, which is like the lowest kind of this is sound, right? So the lowest decibels.
mhm,
Yellow, that's the traffic, that's those are the roads. So that's kind of
right,
normal for road traffic. So that's fine. And then you can see within the park, all the high decibel places are kind of towards the middle, away
mhm,
from anything that would be heard from the residential areas. So this is what they had to do is come up with like this is what it kind of is probably going to be. And to look a little bit closer, like this is the north side of it. This would be the if they I don't know how they're going to do the expansion because it's an expansion, it's not a third gate. So this would
mhm,
be almost like the Disneyland side of the expansion.
yeah,
What was interesting is that all in all, they list here like family ride, thrill ride,
mhm,
whatever, outdoor, indoor. There are listed 9 family friendly attractions and 5 thrill ride attractions in this new expansion, which is
in
crazy.
nine on both sides or on one side.
Total. So this is both sides.
Okay,
But you can see on the Disneyland side, there's a lot of family stuff, whatever. But it's split out through both expansion parts.
well, and what people don't realize is that family rides are like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Peter
Yeah,
Pan, all these things that that Tokyo is like knocking it out of the park with, or even just like the Arendelle. I wouldn't even mind an Arendelle based on what they have built at Hong Kong and Paris and Tokyo. It looks amazing.
yeah.
So, that's all I ask out of these parks is that they give me, something to look forward to. So anyway,
Yeah.
okay, so this is the other
Just
side.
just to give scale on this, like put this whole expansion together, it's like the size of like 4 to 5 lands within the Disneyland and California Adventure parks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's not like adding Galaxy's Edge. It's like adding like 5 Galaxy's Edge to
Right.
Disneyland Resort area. Um, so this plan is since it's a kind of like an environmental noise thing. This obviously things can change between now and whenever they break ground on any of this stuff, but like the way they set this up, it looks like they're looking at around 9 family attractions and 5 thrill ride attractions, amongst other things. Right, this is not including like entertainment stuff, whatever.
I mean, that's not shabby. I wonder if this green area up at the top is that like I wonder if they're going to have a way to link California Adventure and Disneyland. Like, is that going to be like a second
That's
Esplanade
This
or?
is what the other part of this is. They also go through possibilities of expanding transportation to and from areas, which means
Mm-hmm.
they talk about expanding the monorail system, which is
Yeah.
exists, but there's also talk of adding a people mover system and
Oh my God.
possibly the Skyliners, bringing Skyliners back to the resort to move people to and from different areas.
I mean, I think that would go well on the other side of the park, but on this side of the park, I think the people mover. Oh my God. If there were a people mover that went throughout the parks, I mean, I would be so happy. I
Right?
just go to Disneyland just to ride the people
Ride the people
mover.
mover. And what's interesting about this expansion is that the Paradise Pier Hotel and the Disneyland Hotel are smack dab in the middle. All those
Yeah, I
hotels.
mean, can you imagine? Like now you're in at Disneyland, uh, at the Disneyland Hotel um or the Paradise Pier, or down Pixar Pier. I guess it's down Pixar Pier Hotel. Can you imagine? Oh my God, that would be, wow,
Right?
wowzers.
It's a lot. Um, and like we can kind of talked about with the whole $60 billion investment over the next decade, Disneyland
Yeah,
Forward encapsulates more than just the next decade. So I don't know if they're including this, but I think maybe part of this is including that 60 billion
right.
stuff.
All
But yeah,
right. Well, that is awesome. I'm just excited about it. I mean, I hope that they plan. I know that they've been just going everywhere, like to little parks and talking to people in the parks and
yeah.
stuff like that. So they're doing their due diligence, which is great.
Yeah.
So anyway.
For Anaheim, there's more than just this going on. I know the city itself is looking to expand other areas of the city to have more family friendly areas, a lot more entertainment areas, not just Disney stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah, Anaheim, they really want to turn Anaheim into like a destination city,
Yeah.
kind of like the Orlando area where Disney World is. There's not just Disney World, you got your other like Universal, like Busch Gardens, like whatever, Shell World,
Right.
whatever else
Right.
you got going there. It's like a place you go for vacation. There's a lot of other stuff to do. So they want that to happen here. Is like, yes, Disney's here, but we also have, one city over, Knott's Berry Farm is there. But then we also have this cool kind of like shopping entertainment district down the street from Disneyland that you
Hmm.
can go to. On top of the fact that Disneyland also wants to open a kind of downtown, expanded downtown Disney Springs-ish area with a lot more retail and entertainment options. So
Yeah. I mean,
exciting stuff.
so cool. Uh, you know, yeah. Oh God. Anyway. All right. Well, that was the big part of what's going on at Disneyland, and somewhat the smaller part, but still mighty. San Francisco Square is open, and I got a chance to go there, and I loved it. I loved all the little details. I mean, basically, it's the same place,
Right.
you know, but different menus. You
Mm-hmm.
got a chance to meet Baymax. I was actually surprised
Yeah.
at how they fit everything that they were said that they were going to fit in there.
Yeah.
You know, and there's still a lot of room for Cocina Cucamonga because
Mm-hmm.
I thought they're going to be cutting into that a lot. But the only part that I am kind of disappointed with is the store because it's just kind of random Big Hero 6 stuff
Yeah.
that goes in there. I would have loved to have seen. Actually, they have little magnets and signs that I wish that they had put on T-shirts and things like that. If that were the case, I would have gotten a T-shirt or something. Um, but It was
Yeah.
mostly just kind of random stuff, and then the spider bots. That was like, I don't know, they're putting spider bots in here, but kind of makes sense. You know what I mean?
It does,
Uh,
but at the same time,
yeah, it's just kind of like, come on.
it's underwhelming. The store is underwhelming. It's a lot of Baymax stuff, which I
Yeah,
get it, but it would have been cool if they could have made some stuff that's San Francisco specific themed.
yeah, that's what I would have loved to have seen more of that. Like,
Like,
like with there's this like welcome to San Francisco magnet that they had. I would have loved to have seen that on a t-shirt,
yeah,
or like they had one of Big Hero 6, like all hugging Baymax. Again, I'd love to see that on the t-shirt. So just like something that says, I bought this in San Francisco Square. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Like if you look, like if you ever go down to San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
you go to the touristy areas, like here's a little, I don't know, what's it called, snow globe of the Golden Gate Bridge, like having something
Mm-hmm.
of this version of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Um, those kind of things, right? Like it's almost like, because it's
Yeah,
made
like
up
in
to
a
look
snow
like,
globe.
yeah, like it's made up to look like a, any kind of like souvenir shop in the touristy areas of San Francisco, right?
Right.
But it's all, and because Baymax is just a white character,
Yeah.
it's very white in there.
It's
This
kind of gets
color, the
very
color white. It's like he's everywhere, and it doesn't add to the palette because
right.
it's very sterile looking because it's just Baymax, and he's just
Yeah.
doesn't have a lot of color to him, right? So just having a little more things that are kind of quirky would kind of add to the whole. I'm in San Francisco.
Yeah. I love the Tory Golden Gate Bridge. I love it. I had the shrimp katsu sandwich at Aunt Cass's, and that was so good with the honey lemon aid. I got that. Next time we're gonna have the ramen over at Lucky Fortune and the elote over um at Casino Cucamonga.
Right.
And of course, Baymax was such a treat to see. Um, just really, I mean, like he comes out, and he's like, blah, and oh man, people go crazy when he comes out. People are screaming, and it just adds to the fun of it all. Um, so, and it's a cute little area that they set up for him, and it's kind of nice that it's outside. Um, but the congestion goes all the way back into
Oh yeah,
the Ornament Valley, which I kind of don't like because I like that to be unobstructed.
yeah,
So, but I think nowadays it doesn't go quite as far anymore.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, like obviously when they were new, it's going to be the thing to go to. Like, it was
yeah,
going to see it, so it should die
everybody
down
wants to see it.
as time goes on.
Yeah, but it was really cool. Very like lots of grabbable places. And like even Ghirardelli, they changed that little kind of mural that they have in the back of San Francisco.
Yeah.
So they added like some stuff like the what is that called? Like like lanterns and those turbine
Oh
fishes,
yeah.
and and all these different things. It was just like really kind of a cute like addition without having to change Ghirardelli so much, but they still added it to be part of San Francisco Square.
Right.
So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Uh,
Like it's funny because like all they did was do overlays, so it wasn't like they rebuilt things except for the bridge, kind of.
right.
But the
Yeah.
little bits of detail do make a difference, make it feel like a different area than it used to be.
Yeah, it's quite nice though. I mean, and I'm glad that they decided to do a more modern Disney thing there.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Peter Pan Square or like something like that. You know what I'm talking about? Alice in Wonderland's wacky food court.
Right.
Wonder food court. Anyway, I was glad about that. So it works very well
Yeah.
for what it is. And so anyway. All right. Well, over at the other park, at Disneyland Resort, at Disneyland itself, Galaxy's Edge, that's where our Galaxy's Edge is.
Hmm.
Ahsoka, Hera, and Chopper are at the parks. Now, they, I think, only come out, I want to say, Friday through Wednesday.
That's weird.
Um, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what I believe.
So they're
Because
off
when
on Thursday.
Yeah, because on Thursday I was trying to find them, and I kept getting different things. Oh yeah, well, 6 dozen. They're all off exploring space and blah 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 blah. The kind of
Right.
things that they tell you when they don't want to tell you that. Yeah, they had the day off today. um, but on Friday I checked again, and in the afternoon, and there they were. And at first I didn't think I was going to meet Hera, because first they had Ahsoka come out, and I was like so excited about that. And then they had Chopper come out, and I'm like, oh man, okay, I guess he's not going to be coming out with Hera. But we waited a while, and sure enough, he came out again with her. And yeah, look, God, they just look so good in this area. I mean, to me, this is more exciting than having Rey and Chewbacca in the park, because and especially uh, I had some good conversations with them. You know what I mean? Like I was asked Hera about how Sabine is doing with her relationship with Ahsoka, and she just knew what I was talking about and all this stuff. It was just like talking with Hera.
Yeah.
I thought that was really um, just really cool, and Chopper was so much fun. Like R2D2, I saw R2D2 during that time, and he was fun, but he's more like, he's not as fun as Chopper, let's just say.
Well, yeah. I mean, like R2's like your faithful dog.
Yeah, he's like a
Chopper
like a
is like your typical cat.
yippee. Yeah, exactly. So, but I just this is to me what I was hoping Galaxy's Edge would be. Seeing these alien creatures.
Yeah.
I'd love to have them throw in some Rhodians and some, Barcelonians and Madridniks. No, no, but some Rhodians or other Twi'leks just walking around.
Yeah. We know that
And
can happen because Galaxy Star Cruiser has a Rhodian walking around.
yeah, yeah, it's got a Rhodian in there, so
Yeah.
why not? Um, Maybe that can be Florida's, exclusive character
Maybe.
wandering around there going, "Where's my starship?"
Uh, I mean, she's a musician. So they can put her somewhere. If they ever expand Galaxy's Edge to add like a sit down like a proper sit down restaurant. Have
Yeah.
the big thing about the Galaxy Star Cruiser was like Gaia, the singer, and then her band. So which
Yeah.
included that Rhodian. I can't remember her name, but whatever.
But she was
Which
awesome looking.
is not on here, but their last voyage just passed, I think.
Was it the last what?
The last voyage of the Star Cruiser just happened.
Oh, I thought you said the last employee just passed. I was like, oh my God.
Yep, they all died.
Yeah.
Galaxy Star Cruiser is no more.
Yeah. Well, hopefully then they can start getting Hera and Chopper and Ahsoka. Like, I know that it was like under intense duress that they brought over
Mandalorian
because people demanded it. It's like, oh, why does California get to have everything? But that Hera and Chopper coming out was a complete surprise.
Yeah.
That was just like all of a sudden she's like, oh, and here's Hera and Chopper. It's like, wow, that was amazing, and I loved it. And I loved my interaction with her. I loved seeing her walk around the park. And so same with Ahsoka, but Hera is a little bit more like loosey goosey. Ahsoka is more like she is in the show, a little more. What is the word that I'm searching for?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Yeah. So anyway, kind of like that. She's got her arms crossed, and
More
but
stoic.
for some reason, when I talked to her, she said, "There's been nobody more important to me than," and for some reason, I thought she said Ayala Sakura, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, she's great," but then I realized she said, "Are my allies." And she goes,
Nice.
"Can I?" Because she's like, "Can I count you as one of them?" I'm like, "What?" It's like as an ally. I'm like, "Oh, damn it!" You totally didn't hear what she said.
Nice.
And then I was trying to think, did she have a really good relationship with Ayala Sakura? I was like, in my head, trying to, why would she be the most important person?
I mean, she was around.
Yeah, I know. True. I mean, that's so true.
But yeah.
Anywho, all right. Well, that was a blast. Yeah. We're gonna get back into this sooner rather than later, but we can do more parks news. Hopefully, there'll be more parks news, especially if there's all this money that is,
Apparently.
Apparently going to be going into the parks, that we learn something about something um, soon.
Yeah. We'll keep you updated.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, if you want to subscribe to our channel, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Visit us on all of our socials down below, and visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you later. Bye.
See ya. Catch y'all on the flip side.